It's 1845 in central Texas, and a small farmstead sits in the hill country, surrounded by oak trees and clear creeks. A German immigrant family built this Placier's simple log cabin, a few acres of corn, and a small herd of cows and horses. They've worked hard every day, clearing land and tending crops, trying to make a new life in Texas. But now, in the early morning light, the farm is quiet. The entire family lies dead, scattered across the yard, killed in a Comanche raid that hit before dawn. Their home, once a symbol of hope, is now a scene of tragedy, one of many in the Texas Hill Country during this violent time. The Comanche didn't attack this family because of who they were. They didn't know their names or have any personal grudge. To the Comanche, the most powerful tribe on the southern plains, this farmstead was a problem simply because it existed in their territory, a place the Spanish called Comancheria. This region, covering parts of modern-day Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and northern Mexico, was the Comanche homeland for over a century. When settlers built homes here, the Comanche saw it as an invasion. Raids like this one were their way of pushing back, defending their land and way of life. Let's unpack what was happening in 1845 to understand this moment. Texas had become an independent republic in 1836, and settlers were flooding in, especially from Germany. The Adelsverein, a German organization, brought over 7,000 immigrants to central Texas between 1844 and 1847, settling in places like New Braunfels and Fredericksburg, according to the Texas State Historical Association. These families, often unaware of the land's history, built farms right in the heart of Comancheria. To the Comanche, this was a direct threat to their territory, which they'd controlled since the early 1700s after mastering horse-based warfare. The Comanche weren't just striking randomly. Their raids were carefully planned, often involving 50 to 300 warriors, and aimed at stealing horses, livestock, or supplies while disrupting settlements. Historian Pekka Hämäläinen, in the Comanche Empire, 2008, notes that the Comanche launched hundreds of raids each year in the 1840s, hitting targets from Mexico to Oklahoma. Their skill on horseback and deep knowledge of the land made them nearly unstoppable. This farmstead was one of dozens hit in a single season, part of a strategy to protect their homeland and maintain their dominance. The cost was heavy for everyone. For the German family, the raid was devastating, ending their lives in minutes. Comanche warriors used lances, bows, and sometimes guns, striking fast and leaving little chance for defense. But the Comanche faced risks. 2 warriors could be killed or captured, and their families relied on the resources they brought back. This clash wasn't just about one farm. It was about 2 groups fighting for control of the same land, each with their own vision of survival. This destroyed farmstead shows the stakes of the conflict in Comancheria. The Comanche were defending a homeland that defined their identity as a mobile, horse-centered people. The settlers were chasing a new start, often unaware of the history they'd entered. As we continue this story, we'll see how this struggle brought in new forces like the Texas Rangers and changed the fight forever. For now, this senior, silent farm in the Texas Hill Country sets the stage for a war over land and survival. A Comanche raiding party of 200 to 300 warriors surges down from the hills near San Antonio at dawn. They attack a German immigrant farmstead, killing anyone who might resist, taking captives, and seizing all the horses they can. By mid-morning, with the sun rising and the plains growing hot, they head west, driving a large herd of stolen horses. Their raid succeeded. They hit not just this farmstead, but several ranches around San Antonio, gathering a huge haul of livestock. The Comanche move fast, but the herd slows them slightly. This issue does not worry them much. With so many warriors, more than most raiding parties, they feel confident. The Texans, known as Texians at the time, struggled to track or fight them. The Spanish tried to stop Comanche raids, as did the Mexican government and other Texas tribes like the Lipan Apache. In 1845, the Comanche operate with almost total freedom across Texas. They mock settlers as livestock keepers, people who raise horses just for them to take. To the Comanche, anyone building a home in their territory, called Comancheria, invites trouble. Their fight is not personal, but about defending their land and way of life. Let's explore why the Comanche were so hard to stop. Their raids followed a clear plan. Historian Pekka Hämäläinen, in the Comanche Empire, 2008, explains that a typical raid in the 1840s had 50 to 300 warriors, chosen for speed and skill. This group, with up to 300, was large and likely led by experienced war chiefs. They used hit-and-run tactics and unmatched horsemanship. Warriors often brought extra horses, switching mounts to ride for days without stopping. The stolen horses, sometimes hundreds in one raid, powered their economy. A warrior might own dozens, and the Comanche nation had tens of thousands by the 1840s, more than any other Plains tribe, according to historical estimates. Their confidence grew from experience. Spanish records from the 1700s show Comanche raids outsmarting fortified garrisons in New Mexico and Texas. After Mexico took over in 1821, its weak military could not keep up. By 1845, the Republic of Texas, low on funds and poorly organized, offered little resistance, as noted by the Texas State Historical Association. Comanche raids peaked in the 1840s, with some sources estimating thousands of horses stolen yearly from Texas alone. Tribes like the Tonkawa and Karankawa fought back but could not match Comanche's strength or numbers. Settlers were more than a source of horses. Every ranch in Comancheria from Kansas to northern Mexico challenged Comanche control. Since the 1700s, they had built a strong empire based on mobility, trade, and dominance of the southern plains. Settlers' fences and towns blocked the open lands needed for hunting and raiding. To the Comanche, allowing these settlements to spread meant losing their home. Raids like this one, though brutal, sent a clear warning. Comancheria remained theirs. This raid, with warriors driving stolen horses west, captures the Comanche at their strongest. The herd slowing them hints at risks ahead. The Texans, weak now, will not stay that way. New weapons and leaders will soon shift this fight. For now, the Comanche ride on, in full control, defending their empire with every strike. The Comanche strength goes beyond their raids, rooted in a culture that sets them apart. They look down on any group, Native American or European, that depends on farming and staying put. To them, this settled life feels weak, even unworthy. They prize their mobile way of life hunting and raiding as a bolder, more honorable path, one they believe outshines all others, forged by their history of success. This mindset, while narrow, drives their stunning rise. From struggling hunter-gatherers, the Comanche transformed into the wealthiest tribe on the American plains faster than almost any society in history. By the early 1800s, they controlled the southern plains, a vast stretch from modern-day Kansas to South Texas. Their power came not just from land, but from horses. Living at the southern edge of the plains, where settlements and horse herds were plentiful in the early 1800s, they had unmatched access to animals and chances to raid. This gave them far more horses than any other tribe. A young Comanche warrior might own dozens or even hundreds of horses, a fortune rivaling the wealthiest chiefs of northern tribes like the Sioux or Cheyenne. These horses fueled their economy, supporting trade, raids, and swift travel. Historian Pekka Hämäläinen, in the Comanche Empire, 2008, estimates they held tens of thousands of horses by the 1840s, dwarfing other plains tribes. This wealth drove their need to keep raiding, guarding their edge against growing threats. In recent weeks, Texan farmers and officials have tried to stop them but failed, outmatched by the Comanche's speed and strategy. This culture mattered deeply. Their rejection of farming wasn't just pride. Historical records show their nomadic ways let them tap the plains' riches like massive buffalo herds without being tied down. Horses turned them into a mobile powerhouse. By 1800, they had pushed out rivals like the Apache and led trade networks, selling horses and buffalo hides to American and Mexican buyers, according to the Texas State Historical Association. Their raids, targeting Spanish and Mexican ranches since the 1700s, built this horse wealth, giving them unmatched economic and military might. Farms spreading around San Antonio threatened this way of life. Every field or fence cut into the open plains they needed for hunting and moving freely. Their raids aimed to halt this growth, protecting their culture and power. This clash between a mobile empire and settled newcomers shaped their fight, with the Comanche holding strong for now, though tougher battles loomed ahead. Comanche Raids strike terror across the Texas frontier, leaving entire farmsteads empty as families flee, afraid of becoming the next grim tale shared among neighbors. The Comanche hit fast, their attacks like lightning, vanishing into the western plains before anyone can respond. To many settlers, stopping such a swift, elusive force feels impossible. The challenge is so unique that only a bold, new strategy seems likely to succeed. Years earlier, in the 1820s and 1830s, small groups led by Stephen F. Austin, a key Texas leader, patrolled the frontier to confront the Comanche, hoping to deter raids. These groups, later known as the Texas Rangers, had occasional successes but mostly came up short. Tracking or fighting the Comanche, who moved with unmatched speed, proved tough. The Rangers were underfunded, stuck with poor gear and scarce supplies. Their ranks were filled with young men, mostly under 25, who didn't fit in elsewhere. Many came to Texas chasing violence and revenge, fueled by dreams of glory. Each year, new recruits flooded San Antonio, boasting of taking Comanche scalps or rescuing Texas women. They rode out at the first sign of a raid, brimming with bravado. But many never returned. The lucky ones fell quickly in battle, struck by Comanche lances some 14 feet long or short, heavy arrows that could pierce a buffalo and stick in the ground. Captives faced a grimmer fate. Historical accounts, like T.R. Fehrenbach's Comanches, The History of a People, 1974, describe prolonged, brutal torture, a Comanche tactic to spread fear. For years, the Rangers' efforts were spotty. They sometimes got lucky, ambushing a Comanche camp to free a captive or two, but they couldn't keep pace. The Comanches' horses and tactics gave them the upper hand in speed and firepower. A lone ranger with a slow-loading rifle was no match for warriors firing arrows at a gallop. According to the Texas State Historical Association, the Rangers' budget in the 1840s often fell below $10,000 a year, barely covering horses, let alone decent weapons. This left settlers exposed and the frontier in turmoil. This wave of fear and failure shows just how dire the situation was. The Comanches' dominance forced families to abandon their homes, and the Rangers, despite their grit, were outclassed. Yet, change was on the horizon. New tools and leaders were about to shake up this struggle, paving the way for a breakthrough. In the Texas of 1845, the tide is starting to turn for the Texas Rangers, thanks to two key advantages. The first is their new weapon, the Colt Paterson revolver. Invented by Samuel Colt from New Jersey, this revolver is a bold step toward the six-shot Colt Walker, which will arrive in 1847. The Colt Paterson, named for Colt's hometown of Paterson, New Jersey, carries 5 bullets in a rotating cylinder. It's a big, heavy gun, and reloading is tricky. Rangers have to swap out the cylinder and carry extras in the field. While it's not as smooth or powerful as later models, this revolver is a groundbreaking tool. For years, the Colt Paterson sat unused, almost forgotten. When Samuel Colt introduced it in 1836, no military or law enforcement group knew how to make it work effectively. The Republic of Texas ordered 180 of these revolvers in 1839. Hoping to arm its small navy, according to the Texas State Historical Association. But the Navy, underfunded and disorganized, couldn't find a use for them, and the guns seemed headed for the scrap pile. Just before giving up, Texas officials took a chance and passed the revolvers to the Rangers. This wasn't an obvious move at the time. The idea of fighting the Comanche from horseback, matching their fast, mobile attacks, was completely new. Here's why this mattered. For centuries, American settlers had fought native tribes on foot, especially in the dense forests of the eastern woodlands. Their rifles and muskets took ages to reload, making horseback combat nearly impossible. The Comanche, with their swift horses and rapid arrow fire, easily outmaneuvered these tactics. A single ranger with a slow rifle couldn't keep up with warriors who could loose multiple arrows in seconds while riding. The Colt Paterson changed that. Its 5 shots fired without reloading gave rangers a chance to match the Comanche's speed and firepower, as noted in Lone Star, A History of Texas by T.R.A. Fehrenbach, 1991. This shift was a big deal. The Rangers' long outmatch now had a weapon that could level the playing field. Historical records show that by 1845, some ranger units were training with the Colt Paterson, learning to shoot from horseback, a tactic unheard of in earlier frontier fights. But a gun alone wasn't enough. The Rangers needed someone to show them how to use it effectively. That second advantage, a new kind of leader, was about to emerge, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown. The Texas plains give the Comanche a clear edge in battle. The open terrain isn't ideal for horseback fighting for most settlers. Their rifles and muskets take too long to reload, a slow, awkward process that's nearly impossible while riding at full speed. This forces Texans to fight on foot, firing single shots that can't keep up with the Comanche's rapid arrow fire. Warriors on fast horses can loose multiple arrows in seconds, dodging and weaving with skill. This tactical advantage has let the Comanche rule the frontier, hitting targets and vanishing before anyone can respond. Now, the Colt Paterson revolver changes the game. This 5-shot weapon, usable from horseback without reloading, gives the Texas Rangers a real shot at matching their foes. Historical records, like those in the Texas Rangers by Walter Prescott Webb, 1935, show Rangers practicing with the revolver by 1845, learning to shoot while riding. For the first time, they can rival the Comanche's speed and firepower. But the Rangers, a rough bunch known for heavy drinking and crude talk, need more than a gun. Many are young, reckless fighters with no clear strategy to defeat the Comanche. A young Tennessean named John Coffee Hayes, called Jack Hayes, steps up. Arriving in Texas in the late 1830s, he missed the Texas Revolution of 1836-37. Born into a family with deep military roots, Hayes took on surveying, one of Texas's deadliest jobs. The Comanche saw surveyors as thieves, marking their land Comancheria for settlers. Captured surveyors faced horrific torture as staked out under the blazing sun, or burned with hot coals, as described in Comanches, The History of a People by T.R. Fehrenbach, 1974. Hayes dodged these dangers and joined the Rangers, rising quickly through their ranks. Among the Rangers' tough, burly crew, Hayes stands out. He's slim, with a calm voice and polite manners, but his dark hair and sharp, steady eyes reveal a fierce side. His men are amazed at how he switches from a friendly talker to a razor-focused commander in an instant. He's faced enemy fire countless times, giving clear orders while risking his life, earning deep respect according to the Texas State Historical Association. Based in San Antonio, Hayes leads his Rangers on patrols and drills them relentlessly with their Colt Paterson revolvers. They ride through obstacle courses, firing at targets on fence posts. Hayes pushes them to master horseback combat, training both men and horses for battle. Some Rangers complain about the grueling practice, but they sense a major fight is near. With Hayes' leadership and the Colt Paterson, they're ready to challenge the Comanche like never before. News of another Comanche raid hits San Antonio, leaving a trail of destruction in the countryside. Jack Hayes gets the report. A homestead has been attacked, and the Comanche raiding party is heading west toward the Frio River with stolen horses. Within minutes, Hayes rallies 42 Texas Rangers at the city's western edge. He lays out the plan. They'll chase the Comanche, aim to take down as many warriors as possible, and recover the horses. The Rangers, eager for action, nod in approval, ready to put their training to the test. They ride fast, knowing their small group has an advantage. The Comanche, slowed by a large herd of horses and their 200 to 300 warriors, are easier to catch before they scatter into the wide-open plains of West Texas. Riding alongside them is a key ally, Flacco, a Lipan Apache chief and expert scout. Flacco could be the difference between success and failure. For years, he's fought the Comanche, a bitter enemy of his tribe during parts of the 1800s, according to the Texas State Historical Association. Living near San Antonio, he's built a strong bond with Hayes, grounded in mutual respect as warriors and leaders. Flacco has pushed Hayes to fight the Comanche on their terms, using speed and surprise. His tracking skills, sharper than any ranger's, are unmatched. He reads the landscape, broken twigs, hoofprints, disturbed grass like a map, guiding the group with precision. Historical accounts, such as those in the Texas Rangers by Walter Prescott Webb, 1935, note that Lipan Apache scouts like Flacco were vital to ranger pursuits, often outpacing Texan trekkers. After riding about 60 miles, the Rangers sense they're closing in, thanks to Flacco's keen instincts. The Comanche are near, and a showdown looms. The Rangers reach the Frio River and spot the Comanche in the distance. At the same moment, the Comanche see them. With 200 to 300 warriors, they outnumber the Rangers' 42-man force by far. Confident, the Comanche form a battle line, shielding their stolen horses, ready to crush what they think is a weak attack. The Rangers know they can't hesitate. Trained to fight like the Comanche, fast and fearless, they launch a full-on charge. Jack Hayes, riding a mule at the rear, senses the urgency. He pushes forward, spotting a ranger struggling to control a skittish horse. Hayes shouts for him to speed up, but the man insists the horse is bolting. Doubting the excuse, Hayes orders a switch. He leaps onto the horse, and it instantly sprints toward the front, ignoring his commands, stirrups flapping wildly. The ranger line, revolvers ready, charges the Comanche, led by Chief Flacco. The Lipan Apache scout, eager to face his tribe's old enemy, rides hard. Then he sees Hayes streak past, galloping ahead on the runaway horse. Flacco, unaware it's out of control, thinks Hayes is making a reckless bid for glory. A proud warrior, he refuses to let his friend charge alone, or claim all the honor against the Comanche. Flacco spurs his horse, racing until only he and Hayes stand between the Rangers behind and the Comanche line ahead. Hayes and Flacco, locked into the charge, open fire with their Colt Paterson revolvers as they close the gap. To the Rangers behind, their charge looks like a death wish. The Comanche, stunned by this bold move, freeze for a moment, caught off guard. Instead of meeting a wall of arrows, Hayes and Flacco burst through their line unharmed. The Rangers seize the moment, pouring gunfire into the confused Comanche ranks. Mimicking Comanche tactics, the Rangers hit hard, pull back, then strike again in rapid waves. Hayes and Flacco circle around, rejoining their men to add their own fire. The Comanche fight fiercely, but the Rangers' relentless revolver volleys overwhelm them. As J.W. Wilbarger wrote in Indian Depredations in Texas, 1889, panic grips the Comanche, and they scatter in all directions, fleeing the battlefield. Historical records, like those in the Texas Rangers by Walter Prescott Webb, 1935, confirm the battle's intensity. The Rangers' use of Colt Paterson revolvers, firing 5 shots without reloading, gave them an edge over the Comanche's bows, which required more time to knock arrows. Flacco's role as a scout and warrior was crucial, leveraging his lifelong experience against the Comanche. This clash at the Frio River marks a turning point, proving the Rangers could finally match their foes' speed and firepower. The Rangers return to San Antonio, rounding up as many stolen horses as they can after their victory at the Frio River. Chief Flacco, both amazed by Jack Hayes' bold charge and amused to learn it was sparked by a runaway horse, gives his friend a nickname that sticks. From that day on, many in Texas call Hayes Bravo Too Much, or Brave Too Much. The name carries a playful jab between comrades, but also captures his undeniable courage. a trait history will prove time and again. Flacco and Hayes continue their fight against the Comanche in the years ahead, their partnership a powerful force on the frontier. Hayes builds a fierce reputation, later leaving his mark in the Mexican-American War from 1846 to 1848, according to the Texas State Historical Association. By 1849, drawn by the California Gold Rush, he moves west, never seeing Flacco again. Flacco himself becomes a towering figure in Texas history, his own story rich enough for its own telling. The war for Texas, though, stretches on for decades, claiming countless lives on both sides. By the 1870s, the Comanche's nomadic way of life faces its end. As settlers and military campaigns reshape the plains, notes The Comanche Empire by Pekka Hämäläinen, 2008. This battle at the Frio River, driven by a daring charge and a bit of luck, shows the shifting tides in a brutal conflict. It marks a moment when courage, new tactics, and unlikely heroes like Flacco and Hayes began to challenge the Comanche's dominance.